Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I am Lieutenant Alexander Adams, your narrator for today's graduation ceremony. At this time, we would like to welcome all general officers, senior officers, and distinguished guests. Today's ceremony honors cadets from colleges and universities across the nation and celebrates the successful completion of Basic Camp. The graduation unit today is the 2nd Regiment of Basic Camp, the General Henley Shelton Regiment. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Cadet James Carroll from Georgia Military College. The color guard is comprised of cadets selected from the regiment. They are led by Drill Sergeant Atkins from the 2nd of 3, 17 Charlie Company. Also participating in today's ceremony is the 3rd Infantry Division Band from Port Stewart, Georgia, commanded by 1st Sergeant Addington. The ceremony marks the culmination of 31 days of rigorous and intensive training for these young men and women. For them, Basic Camp served as a test to their leadership abilities and potential to be an officer. They have emerged from this challenge confident in their ability to assume the tremendous responsibilities of being an Army officer. The cadets of the 2nd Regiment are now formed in front of you. Each regiment has had the honor of having bestowed upon it a namesake. This namesake is in honor of general officers whose valued and accomplishments represent the best the Army has to offer. 2nd Regiment has had the distinct privilege of honoring General Henley Hugh Shelton. Henry Hugh Shelton graduated from North Carolina State University in 1963 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Textile Engineering and was commissioned as a 2nd Lieutenant in the Infantry Branch. Shelton served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam with the 5th Special Forces Group and with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, followed by a series of command and staff assignments. Following the Gulf War, Shelton commanded the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg in his home state of North Carolina. Shelton also led the Joint Task Force responsible for Operation Uphold Democracy in Haiti in 1994. In 1996, Shelton was promoted to the rank of general and the position of Commander-in-Chief of the United States Special Operations Command. He was the first graduate of the U.S. Army Special Forces program to command the United States Special Operations Command. General Shelton's final assignment was Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff from 1997 to 2001, where he oversaw the planning of the Kosovo War and the initial invasion into Afghanistan. In honor of their completion of Basic Camp, the cadets from the General Hugh Shelton Regiment will be receiving a 3-gun salute in the form of a Cadet Kennedy. In a moment, the commander of troops will bring the units to attention and present arms. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Major General Promotable Milford Beagle, Commanding General of the 10th Mountain Division. He's accompanied by the host and Regimental Tactical Officer, Major Ryan Caligiuri. Please rise for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the invocation offered by Chaplain Candidate First Lieutenant Asave Lilon. Will bring the units to parade rest.
Bring your units to order arms and parade rest. Order, order. Order, arms. Parade rest. Order, arms. Parade rest.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, thank you for today's graduation ceremony. Thank you for calling these young men and women to be part of the U.S. Army, to be the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you for the 2nd Basic Camp leadership, the cadre, their families and loved ones. I pray and ask you to bless each one of them. Lord, help these cadets to always lead from the front and by example. As they live here, let your presence be with them. Grant them a safe journey back home and bless their families. It is in your holy name that I pray. Amen.
Please be seated.
Sir, the regiment is forward. Post the colors.
The colors are now being brought forward by the Commander of Troops. The flags present for today's ceremony are the national colors, the Army field flag, and the Cadet command colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing during the firing of the Cadet Cannonade. We ask that military personnel in uniform maintain their hand salute until the completion of the Cadet Cannonade. The United States Army ROTC Cadet Candidate salutes the three pillars of our service to the nation. Duty. Obedience and disciplined performance despite difficulty or danger. Duty requires self-responsibility and selfless devotion. Honor. Encompassing integrity and dedication, honor is the thread which holds together the fabric of our Army. Country. For which men and women have given their lives, our country shines as a light of freedom and dignity to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Cadet Creed was adopted to instill in Army cadets the values that are critical for successful performance. Cadet Asia Graham King from Pembroke University will now recite the Cadet Creed.
I am an Army cadet. Soon I will take an oath to become an Army officer, committed to defending the values which make this nation great. Honor is my touchstone. I understand mission first and people always. I am the past, the spirit of those warriors who made the final sacrifice. I am the present, the scholar and apprentice soldier, enhancing my skills in the science of warfare and the art of leadership. But above all, I am the future warrior leader of the United States Army. May God give me the compassion and judgment to lead and the gallantry in battle to win. I will do my duty. Leadership is excellent, sir.
In a moment, the commander of troops will bring the unit to parade rest. The greater community of Fort Knox and our national and local service organizations are here to show their support to our future Army leaders. These cadets have demonstrated superior character and service throughout training and will be recognized for their efforts. We kindly ask family and friends to remain seated during the awards presentation. The awardees will be brought forward immediately following the ceremony for pictures. The Military Order of the Purple Heart Badge of Merit is presented to the cadet who shows the most improvement in the development of character and accountability and must meet all stated basic camp standards. This award is presented to Cadet Jocelyn Auditor from the University of California, Irvine. The Military Order of the World Wars Award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates the ability to evaluate, analyze, apply, and understand experiences and capabilities to solve tactical problem sets. This award is presented to Cadet Zachary Barthel from the University of New Hampshire. The Military Officers Association of America Award is given to the cadet that has demonstrated superior dedication to duty and established a positive command presence by accepting accountability for self and assigned unit through employment of team members while applying the fundamentals of leadership. This award is presented to Cadet Ronaldo Myron Cruz from the University of Puerto Rico, Piedras. The AUSA Warrior Ethos Award is given to the cadet achieving the highest marksmanship scores. The award is presented to Cadet Sean Adams from the University of Georgia. The First Command Financial Service Award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates the leadership traits necessary to encourage teamwork, improve unit cohesion, and reinforce mission accomplishment. This award is presented to Cadet Andre Brisk from Santa Clara University. The Armed Forces Bank Award is presented to the cadet that best demonstrates respect for other cultures and peoples by effectively utilizing the training scenarios to demonstrate a mastery of cross-cultural competencies as they relate to a complex environment. This award is presented to Cadet Alexa Barnes from the University of Oklahoma. The Reserve Organization of America Award is given to the cadet that embodies the characteristics of a comprehensive soldier by demonstrating resilience, the lifelong pursuit of enhanced performance to cope with the diversity in stressful situations, and thrive in life. This award is presented to Cadet Richard Roberts from Auburn University. The Society of American Military Engineers Award is presented to the Engineering Curriculum Cadet who best possesses observably improved problem-solving skills. This award is presented to Cadet Donald Aniekwe from Pennsylvania State University, University Park. The Bold Leader Spirit Award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates appropriate motivational techniques, inspirational leadership, and the spirit of a leader. This award is presented to Cadet Julian Watts from Auburn University. The USAA Warriors Spirit Award is presented to the cadet that best demonstrated the personal actions necessary to represent the Army profession, ethics, and officership while best exemplifying the warrior spirit. This award is presented to Cadet Sasha Thompson from Morgan State University. The American Legion Commander's Award is given to the cadet that best demonstrates the characteristics essential in a disciplined practice of our duty and reflected in our time-honored customs, courtesies, and traditions. This award is presented to Cadet Naomi Moulton from Boise State University. The Magellan Federal High Performance Award is presented to the male and female cadet who achieved the overall highest score on the Army Combat Fitness Test. This award is presented to Cadet David Rissner from Georgia Military College and Cadet Amelia Andretti from the University of Tampa. The National Guard Association of the United States Award is presented to the top RNNG cadet in each regiment, as determined by a regimental cadre board. This award is presented to Cadet Elsie Johnson from the University of Washington, Seattle. The United States Army Reserve Truman Citizen Soldier Award is presented to the Army Reserve cadet in each regiment that has distinguished themselves amongst their peers as a top performer and exemplifies outstanding leadership qualities. This award is presented to Cadet Amanda Chavaria from National University College, Ponce. At the completion of the ceremony, today's awardees will return to the court for individual congratulations and photo opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving our awardees a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest speaker for today's ceremony, Major General Promotable Milford Beagle, Commanding General of the 10th Mountain Division.
Okay, good morning. Okay, I typically have to do this twice because today is a great day. And you know when something's important by three measures. It's important to someone that's important to you, your personal presence makes a difference, and it's only going to happen once. So from that lukewarm good morning, we're going to start all over. Good morning. Good morning. You're all here, you're all present. This is a great day. Your personal presence does make a difference, and this is only going to happen once. So we're going to make the most of it today. But it is absolutely awesome to be here with you today. And I don't think, and as General Davis mentioned, we did this about 30 years ago. I don't think during that time we had a guest speaker, because if we did, I can't tell you what they said, and I have no idea who he or she was. So I'm under no illusion today that any of you will remember what I have to tell you today, but that's okay. Because the points that I'll make to you today, they're not meant to be remembered, nor are they meant to be written down. And you'll see why here in a second. But all I will tell you is that you will experience those points at some point in time in your career, and you will know it when it happens. I'm the only thing standing between you out processing this place and reuniting with your family and friends that are here this morning. Now, less than 4 days ago, I had the opportunity to speak to over 500 soldiers at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, who were graduating from basic training. Now, this may be mildly interesting to you right now, but before my remarks are done, all of you cadets on the floor will understand your connection to them. And I'll circle back to those points shortly. But I want to do a couple of things first. General Davis gave you the opportunity. I'm going to give it to you again. Rest. There we go. Now you get it. Okay, shake it out. Do whatever you're going to do until my remarks are complete. But I want to thank my great friend, General Davis, for this invitation to come out here and speak today. Awesome opportunity. Always great to be in the presence of my great friend, General Davis. I want to welcome and thank all the family members that are here, our cadre, the leaders, the great 3ID band, Rock of the Marne. General Costanza would be very proud to see you represented here today, and the drill sergeants from 104. To any veterans that we have here and your spouses, I ask that you please stand. I know that may have been a little bit awkward, but I have to always do that in public. A lot of times we're thanked for our service, or our veterans are thanked for their service, but there's a second part to that. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. So if you stood up with your spouse or your significant other, thank you for all the sacrifices that you've made wearing the cloth of our nation. And also would like to thank a great Ranger buddy, as General Davis mentioned, Sergeant Major Gann, for being here. He's been both of our Ranger buddies over the last several years, and there's no better Sergeant Major out there in our Army than Sergeant Major Gann. Always great to see you, my friend. So, it's not very hot because you're inside right now. You've done what you've set out to do, and I'm gonna do what I was invited to do. Typically, when I'm told I have an opportunity to speak, just like General Davis this morning, he said, you have all the time in the world to speak as long as you want to speak. And then Sergeant Major Gann came up behind me and said, sir, you have 7 minutes to speak as long as you want to speak. So I'll use my 7 minutes very wisely. And I'll start with a short version of a very long story. About 10 weeks ago, I was on an airplane returning from Germany. There was a young man sitting beside me on his way to basic training at Fort Jackson. We had a conversation. Long story short, at the end of that plane ride, I gave him an envelope with 3 points in it. I sealed that envelope up, and I said, don't look at it until you have a bad day in basic training. I took a selfie with him for his dad because his dad was a soldier, and he was retired. 46,000 likes later on social media, I find myself at Fort Jackson with that soldier in the formation graduating. His mom told me he waited 1 day to open that envelope, and I told him, wait till you have a bad day. But I guess he had a bad day on day one, and he couldn't wait to open that envelope. The 3 points that I laid out to him in that envelope, the first point, and I learned this from Sergeant Major Gann, always quit tomorrow. Never fail to try. You may try and fail, but never fail to try. And never let anyone tell you what you can or you cannot do. Those were the 3 points. That young man was one out of the 513 soldiers, newly minted soldiers, from basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. He'd become what he set out to be, an American soldier. Without even knowing it, every single one of you standing before me today, you've adhered to those same 3 points. You did not quit. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing here today. You did something that you thought you could not do. You may thought you would have failed at it, but you did it anyway. You never failed to try. That's why you're here today. And someone at some point may have told you what you cannot do. I would not be here, neither would General Davis be here, if we listened to somebody that told us what we could not do at some point in time. So in this sense, you already have something in common with those young soldiers that you will at some point lead. As you stand here one closer, you're one step to doing what you set out to do and being who you set out to be, a leader of American soldiers. As I look at all of you and think about the new soldiers graduating from basic combat training and advanced individual training every week, they expect and they want one thing: a great leader. Over the past few weeks, you've learned and you've received lessons on how to be a good leader. You've learned the fundamentals of how to be a professional in your careers. We have a saying in the 10th Mountain Division: don't be average. Sometimes being okay is not okay. The soldiers that you will lead will not want just okay. Soldiers want and deserve great leader and great leadership. This is what you owe them. Soldiers are quick to tell you about great leaders and bad leaders. Very rarely do you hear about those in between. As you start your journey, none of you set out to be bad leaders. It's not even worth your time this morning to talk to you about what a bad leader is, what a bad leader does, or what a bad leader looks like. It's not even worth it. It's pretty simple. You will know it when you see it. Ask for a great leader. You will see it, him or her, and you will experience it. But you won't think about it, because in the presence of greatness, it just feels right. You will know great leadership when you feel it. That's what I would tell you. So if you ask me what a great leader is, the assumption that I make standing here today is that you all want to be a great leader. Like you, the soldiers that you will lead are our most precious resource, our nation's sons and daughters. You, as our most precious resource, our nation's sons and daughters, you expect great leadership as well. Now, I won't dare claim to be a great leader. That's not my judgment to make. As I always say, never grade your own homework. You typically know how things go when you grade your own homework, right? You get an A+. Never grade your own homework. But I've seen bad and great leaders, and I've been in the presence of great leaders a majority of my career. And everyone that you ask will offer their opinion. And my intent today, very quickly and very simply, is to give you my opinion. So here's what I'll offer to you. Great leaders do simple things. They never become too big to do the small things that need to be done. Great leaders are like sweet potatoes. Yes, I said sweet potatoes. In New Zealand, they call the sweet potato a kumara. And there's a saying about the kumara. The kumara does not need to tell you how sweet it is. It's in the title. A great leader does not need to tell you how great they are. Everybody already knows. A great leader will let you fail, but they will not let you become a failure. Great leaders balance pride and humility. Absolute pride in performance, total humility before the magnitude of any task. In other words, be proud of your performance and those of your people. Let others know about it. And never take any task, any mission, or any assignment for granted. Be humble when you face them. And lastly, great leaders let someone else praise their virtues. Another way to state that, it is less about I and it is more about we and us. This all sounds very simple, but even in our profession, the simple becomes complex. You will know great leadership when you feel it. So as I finish up, the best words of any speech, as I conclude, the thing to think about before you pin on the rank of second lieutenant is to be the leader that you want to be led by. The 513 soldiers that I mentioned only reflect a fraction of what you will lead in your future. They won't judge you based on how you look. They won't judge you based on your skin color. They won't judge you based on your gender. They won't judge you based on where you come from. They simply want to be led by someone who doesn't settle for being average. So I want to thank you for what you've done and your commitment to joining our ranks as a leader. Continue to learn and grow. All leaders want to be great, but few want to put in the work. You may feel like I put a lot on you today, but if you remember nothing else, and I told you these points are not to be remembered or written down, but if you remember nothing else, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. Just go after it, get after it every single day. So thank you for what you do. To all of you that are here today, thank you so much for your significance in the role and in the life of these cadets. Army strong, people first, climb to glory.
In a moment, the commander of troops will bring the unit to attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army Song. The words of the Army Song can be found in your program.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony. Leadership excellence, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2nd Regiment Basic Camp Training 2022 graduation ceremony. Thank you for your attendance, leadership, and excellence.